Since his son Joaquin was murdered at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High 4 years ago, Manny Oliver has been on a crusade against gun violence.
As have so many Parkland families. And this week, Oliver was among them at the White House for President Biden's ceremony marking the first bipartisan gun safety legislation in 30 years. For Oliver, though, a moment to go off script.
Today's many things is proof that despite the naysayers, we can make meaningful progress on dealing with gun violence. Because make no mistake, sit down, you'll hear what I have to say. If you think you
I'm trying to tell you this for years.
Let me finish my comment. Let him talk. Let him talk.
Manuel Oliver, Joaquin's dad, is with us today to talk about all of that on this day, incidentally, before the sentencing case starts for the young man responsible for that mass murder at Douglas High. Manny Oliver, great to have you with us.
Manny, good morning. We're glad that you are here. So what did you accomplish? You stood up and you said there's nothing to celebrate. It's a lie. This bill, the first one to pass Congress in a decade, more, 3 decades. What did you accomplish?
Well, I think that you can hear the people behind me clapping after I was asking President Biden for the 3rd time to open an office in the White House that will just make sure that gun violence is a priority. We mentioned this before in a meeting to his some of his members of his team, including Susan Rice. And it was ignored. We sent a letter a week before, and I saw an opportunity to do that. Now, let me tell you, you don't achieve things by individual actions. It's an addition of actions, not only like that one. We do many things. So this is only one more thing that we did. We will hold accountable and call out anything that we think is not working or is not going in the right direction.
Yeah, so many of the Parkland families, and we've had so many with us on this program, have done so much, have been so engaged to leave legacies for your sons and daughters and husbands. Most of the parents that we've spoken to they've become involved in politics and school boards and lobbying and crafting laws in getting them passed. And you've taken such a different route. Was that what you did? Was that planned? Was that spontaneous? And what did you think about these sort of unorthodox things that you have been doing as an artist, as an activist? Do you feel like you are making progress?
I like to think that I am. I also like to think that part of what we have done is been connecting very well with the young Americans. I am not exclusively fighting against shootings in schools. I respect that. But we all know that this is something that is hitting us in every single corner of our nation, outside of the schools. This is beyond Parkland, and this is beyond Joaquin. What I did in the White House is just another thing that I did. And I will do it again, by the way. If I think that at some point you need to not accept something that is only going to work halfway. We all know it, and they know it, and President Biden knows it. Yeah. This is a group of bills that they have a certain amount of succeeding because we decided to put it that way. I have to fight against that. You will never try to launch a rocket to the moon that it would only reach halfway. So that's my point. We need to do better, and I'm not willing to wait another 30 years to have a ban of assault weapons and to do the things that President Biden asked this group of legislators to do.
Yeah. Manny Oliver, let me just say, we admire your utter dedication to this cause, and you are not going to be deterred by manners or courtesy. I mean, there were some Parkland parents who thought it was discourteous for you to get up, and speak, and you said, this is a moment to draw attention to it. Now, you have had a conversation, a private conversation, have you not, with President Biden? Tell us about that.
I had a visit to the Oval Office, which is very different than having a conversation. So I wouldn't count that as a meeting. We were there. We spent a couple of minutes with President Biden. He's a nice guy. By the way, I voted for President Biden. But I don't need to follow everything just because there's a political inclination or a color that I might be identifying more than the other. That's my difference between the main difference between how we react, Patricia and myself, and the whole movement that Joaquin is leading and other movements. So, but I respect what everyone is doing. If I see a moment that requires me to call out, I'll do it again.
Manny, tomorrow, Monday, at least the scheduling as such, after months and months of jury selection, the case, the sentencing phase is about to begin against the young man responsible for mass murder. Will you be there in that Broward courtroom?
I won't be there tomorrow because I have COVID, so I can't be there, and Patricia has it too. But I will be there at some point. I can tell you something. I'm not changing any plan from what we do. We work every single day on trying to prevent gun violence from happening. So I think that the point that I want to make is that I'm not changing anything from our schedule to be there. What we do is important. What we do, it's part of the solution. And I don't have anything that will allow me, or I don't think it's fair with Joaquin that we stop our plans and movements and actions just to be in that room.
Let me ask you this way then, understood. You know, the jurors are not supposed to be watching television or going onto the internet, so I feel fairly free in asking you, what would you say to that jury? What do you want to see? Life without parole, or would you like to see him put to death?
I think he should die, and I think that that is not enough, because whatever the jury decides at the end, it won't be in any level close to the suffering that Joaquin and the other 16 had to go through that day. So if there was a chance that this murder will receive a death penalty that will imply him running around a school with a lot of kids screaming and bleeding out and falling in the floor and the smoke, and then he gets shot 4 times like my kid did, and then 10 hours later they will let their family know, that will be more fair. So not even the death penalty is enough. I think we should make a precedent here, mark a precedent here, by giving this murder killer of my son the death penalty without any doubt. Yeah.
Manny Oliver, we wish you well and your wife Patricia now get over COVID and for the future, and trying to cope with the unspeakable loss of your son Joaquin.
We are grateful for your time and your passion.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.